Today we're going to turn the tables and we're going to interview
That's what
you.
I understand.
You've written another book, Destination Jerusalem, ISIS, Convert or Die, Christian Persecution, and Preparing for the Days Ahead. Why did you write this book?
Well, I wrote the book, Julie. It came out of our experiences last summer in northern Iraq in June and August, and that was sandwiched in between the war we had, 50-day war between Hamas and Israel. And I wanted to tell people, first of all, about ISIS, how they came to be, the danger that ISIS poses not only here to Israel, but to Western civilization. I wanted to tell people about Christian persecution. We met with a number of Christians who were persecuted, left their homes, given a choice, convert or die, and people need to know about what's happening to them. And finally, I wanted people to know how to prepare for the days ahead. We live in dangerous, dark days. People need to know what's coming and how to get ready.
Yeah, so we saw this meteoric rise of ISIS last year. Who exactly are they and where are they going?
Well, the book chronicles exactly how they came to be. Their genesis was AQI, which is Al-Qaeda Iraq. They came out of that group, but they really sprung on the world stage on June 10th when they took over Iraq's second largest city, Mosul, which is ancient Nineveh. That's where the prophet Jonah went 3,000 years ago, and he preached his message of repentance to the ancient people of Nineveh. And now they have established what they call a caliphate. Now, this is important because this has been the dream of many Muslims for years, that they would establish their own entity. This is like an Islamic empire, and this is embryonic right now, but they want to actually enlarge that, not only to the region, but around the world.
And what has this meant to the Christians that are living there?
Well, for the Christians, and I have this New Testament right here because this is a story of a guy named Yadi. And when we met him, he told us about his situation. So many of the Christians, thousands of the Christians, tens of thousands of Christians have left their ancient homes that they had been in for generations. And they were told by ISIS, you have four choices. The first choice is you could leave. And that means leaving behind almost everything, their possessions, their lives, their livelihood. It also means the second choice was that they could convert. They could say the Islamic creed, the Shahada, and become a Muslim. Or they could die by the sword. And one other choice they had was that they could, pay the Islamic tax for infidels or non-Muslims. So right now there are tens of thousands of Christians that are homeless, that are refugees, left and lost everything.
Why are we hearing so little about this in the West?
It's a good question. There are some voices. CBN's Pat Robertson, our boss, is one that has been speaking out about this for many years. Franklin Graham is speaking out about this. Jay Sekulow, the ACLJ, speaks out about Christian persecutions. But really, we're not seeing the kind of chorus you would expect from the Western church about the Christians here in the Middle East. And I've actually had Jews ask me, why aren't the Christians speaking out? And I really don't have a good answer for them. Ironically, many Jews have spoken out for Christians. You've interviewed Ron Lauder before. He's one that has raised his voice. The Jews know what it means to be silent in the face of this kind of persecution, and hopefully the church will wake up. That's really one of the reasons behind writing the book, was to inform people what's happening to believers here in the Middle East so that they can be informed and raise their voice on their behalf.
So how does Jerusalem figure into this? Destination Jerusalem.
Well, it's interesting that we're here with Jerusalem in the background. The Jews are coming back here from all over the world, this aliyah, this prophetic fulfillment. Christians around the world are praying for Jerusalem and the peace of Jerusalem like never before. And also many Muslims, like ISIS, they see Jerusalem as the future capital of their caliphate. And so what we're seeing right now, that many forces, both good and bad, want to come here to Jerusalem. And you could say that Jerusalem really is the crossroads of both history and prophecy.
How do we prepare for the
How do we prepare? There's a chapter in there about how to prepare. There's 10 ideas, mainly scriptural admonitions of how to prepare. One is watch and pray. That's what Jesus told us to do. Another one is having a sense of humor. These are dark and dangerous days. They're scary days, but I think we have to have a perspective and a sense of humor in these dark days. And the other thing is a perspective, a heavenly perspective, that Jesus said, when you see all these things, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. And it's not a coincidence that Jerusalem, we see the Mount of Olives. 2,000 years ago, Jesus ascended into heaven. He promised, when you see all these things happening, he'll come back. So we're living in a season, a very sort of pregnant with prophecy, prophetic fulfillment. And these are some of the things we can do to prepare for the days that are coming.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Julie. It's great to be with you. And I enjoyed this, having the tables turned.